Hi, welcome to our channel. In this video, we're going to be going through a step-by-step process on building and setting up calendar in GoHighLevel. So GoHighLevel calendar is a replacement for other calendars like Calendly, where customers can book an appointment with you and get an automated email, reminders, and a whole system to follow up with them after an appointment is booked. This calendar is actually useful if you're a business owner, if you're a consultant, for doctors, lawyers, anybody that would like to have a one-on-one meeting with clients. This is a very professional way to schedule appointments. So in this video, we're going to be going through how to build a calendar, how to sync it to your personal calendar so you can get the appointments displayed on your personal calendar every time someone books a call with you. And we're going to be setting up a workflow to help us automate the system. So when an appointment is booked, an email is sent out following a reminder and everything. In my previous video, I built a calendar appointment workflow, which goes through the whole process. So you can check out my other video to see the full step-by-step process to getting that done. All right. So to get started, we're going to do the first thing. So we're going to start by first syncing our personal calendar with GoHighLevel. This is actually important because we want to have our appointment show up on our personal calendar. So we're going to do that before we book the appointment. Okay. And before we set up the booking calendar. All right. So in order to get this done, it's actually quite a straightforward process. First thing to do is to go, while logged into your GoHighLevel, of course, go down to your settings tab down here. And once you get in there, click on My Profile. Okay. So when you click on My Profile, it's going to bring you into your personal profile on GoHighLevel. So all you have to do is scroll down all the way here. And here you have your calendar settings. Just add a new calendar. So click on Add New here. And then you choose the calendar you want to connect. I'm going to be connecting my Google Calendar here. You can use the Outlook, iCloud, and even Calendly itself. So we're going to be using Google Calendar for this. And then, so I'm going to just press connect and go through the process and get mine connected. And there you have it. As you can see, my calendar is now connected. This is Google Calendar. You can always add another calendar to connect more calendars if you like them all synced to this profile. But we're going to be using just this one right now. Okay. So next, we're going to go into, we're going to go back into our settings and we're going to go set up the calendar. Since we have my calendar synced to this, the next step is to get the calendar set up. So in order to do that, right here in the settings, you can go into the calendar settings. That's a way to get in there. Or another option is to go back to your homepage on the calendar tab right here on GoHighLevel. You can do the same. So we'll just have to click in on the calendar settings here. And this is going to take us to our calendars. Okay. As you can see here, I already have a few calendars already built. But today we're going to be setting up a brand new calendar. And so in order to do that, first things first is to go into the new calendar tab here and click on new calendar. And since this is going to be a one-on-one calendar, we want to use a personal booking calendar. You have other options. You have class booking, collective, round robin, and you can also explore more types of calendars here. And you could also see the descriptions. So if these calendars are more, related to what you actually do, you could use any of this, but the process still remains very similar to what I'm about to do. So we're going to select a personal calendar here. And first things first, they're going to ask for the calendar name. We just want to call this my personal calendar, for example. Then for the team member, that meaning who owns this calendar. So it's going to be me. So I'm going to, just put my name here. And next, we're going to set up a custom URL for this calendar. So this is actually for your own benefit. So you could always rename this calendar, but you want to use something that's not already taken. So you just need to, add maybe a few letters to this, and that will be enough. So my personal calendar, ABC, that's acceptable. So you all next is to set up the meeting duration for this calendar. And for that, some calls last an hour, some calls last 2 hours. You just want to put an estimate of what your usual calls are like. So this will be helpful to you. All right. So let's just say 1 hour. So you just, click on the drop down here and change the time to an hour. And then for the booking availability, we're going to go into this when we get into the next steps. So once you have your calendar named and set up like this, just click on confirm, and then you get into the next step. Next, it's gonna, give you your personal calendar link and the embedded code. The embedded code can be used when, if you want to attach it to a different website. This code will be perfect to give to a developer or to inject yourself into a website that you're building somewhere else. All right. So we can preview this calendar here by just hitting on the preview button. That's going to show us this calendar I just created. And as you can see, the name, my personal calendar, just as we set up, it has availability dates and everything. But we're not done. So we're going to go back to our process here. And next step will be to edit this calendar we just created, which is this one. Okay. So once we hit on edit, next we have the option to add a calendar logo. You can get your logo from your desktop, or you can just drag and drop into this. Okay. So I'm going to leave this blank for now. Then next we want to name the calendar, which is already called my personal calendar. You can change the name here to anything. And then you can write a description for your calendar. So you can write something like this call is meant for those who require tech services. You can just put a simple description however you please. Okay. And next, the custom URL, which we did earlier. That's what you have here. My personal calendar ABC. You can change this, of course, or leave it as is. Okay. And then once you're done going through all this, the group, you leave that blank, meeting invite, you leave that like that. And then you just come up here and hit save changes. So by hitting save changes, it's going to take you to the next step here. So we just finished the basic details and we saved. You need to save your progress. And now it took us to the next step, which is staff and location. So for the staff and location page, this is something we also did from the previous page, where you select the staff that this calendar belongs to. This is actually important because that's how you can get your calendar to sync with this one. Okay. So first, I've selected myself as the owner of this calendar. And now this is where the syncing comes in play. We have our meeting location. Okay. So when you select meeting location, if you don't have your calendar synced, you just use custom. But we don't want to do that because we already have a synced calendar on Google. We collected my Google calendar here. So we're just going to use Google Meet. You can also connect to Zoom and choose Zoom instead. So once we select Google Meet, this is going to recognize my connected calendar. Okay. And once we do this, we can hit on save changes again. So it takes us to the next step. Now, on the next step, we have booking availability. Okay. Booking availability is actually important because while this is already synced to your personal calendar, you might decide to set up your personal booking availability within the system. So while it's recognizing blocked slots or already booked slots on your personal calendar, the booking availability is going to give a window where you're available. You don't want your calendar to show that you're available from 8 a.m. till the next day, 12 a.m. in the morning, because maybe you're not actually available then. So this is where you get to select your days and the personal days and time that you're actually available. Okay. So here we have the weekly hours, which you can hit on edit. You can fix the schedule, or you can select specific dates and time for your calendar, and you can edit this as well. So once you do this, it's gonna tell you to add your specific date and time where you're available. This also helps if, maybe you have a regular weekly schedule, weekly hours set up, but you might not be available that day. You might not be available on a specific day for the week. You could use the specific hours of your calendar to block that. Okay. So for the weekly calendar, so for example, you're only available on weekdays. So Monday to Fridays, maybe you're available from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You want to change this, you will need to change all the days. Maybe, if you're not available on Wednesday, you can uncheck that, and then this won't show up on your calendar, which we're going to preview in a second. So let's take our Wednesday for now. So we're only available on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we'll just make all of them 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. and then we hit save. Okay. So now here we have our weekly hours: 9 a.m., 5 p.m., 9 a.m., 5 p.m., 9 a.m. Uh, unavailable on Sunday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Okay. So this is done. We're just going to hit save changes. Okay. And now, once we're done with this, it's going to take us to the next step, which is the booking rules. Okay. But before we do that, we can go preview that calendar and see if what we just made on the availability has reflected on the calendar we set up, which is this one. So if we come back here and I hit refresh, so when this refreshes, what you can see here is the availability is recognized by this system. So if we go into July, for example, you can see all the Wednesdays here are blocked off. All the Sundays are closed off, and all the Saturdays are closed off as well. Meaning an appointment can only be booked from uh, 6th on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Fridays, because that's how we set it on the back end. And again, it starts from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m., 5 p.m., which is just here. You can change your time zone to get this adjusted to the time you set up. Okay. So now we go back into settings, and the next step is about booking rules. Okay. For the booking rules, you want to set up how your calendar reacts after an appointment is booked. How many hours in between appointments would you like to have? This is important if you need maybe time to prep. If you want a specific amount of appointments in a day, this is actually very important to use. Okay. So first we want to select our meeting interval. So meeting interval means how much gap between your appointment to the next one, your minimum gap. So if you select 30 minutes, it means every appointment is going to block out the slot. Every booked appointment is going to block out the next slot for the next 30 minutes, as you can see here. So that gives you enough time to get into the next meeting. You can also decide to make this 0 if you don't want it blocking any slots. Okay. And then our meeting duration is here, which we set up earlier, 1 hour. You can always change that here to 30 minutes, 2 hours, etc. Okay. And you want to check out minimum scheduling notice. This is actually useful if you need time in between people booking an appointment and when you get ready for a call. Certain people don't need a scheduling notice, so they'll accept an appointment that's booked on the same day right away on the same time, whenever it is. And that also can be a problem. But for some people, they're actually active to get this done. But if you want to use a scheduling notice, you can start from minutes. Maybe the minimum is 60 minutes before an appointment time, meaning this system will automatically close every slot 60 minutes before the time. So if a client shows up at 1 p.m. and wants to book you for 1:30 or 2 p.m., it's not going to happen. The only time they're going to be able to pick up an appointment with you will be at 2 p.m., but they're not going to be able to book an appointment with you at 1:30. This helps you have enough time to prepare for an appointment and gives you an hour before so you don't get any sudden appointments. You can also do this with days ahead. If you do 1 day, it means every time you set up a schedule, somebody goes to your link to book an appointment, they're gonna see the next day, the next day will be blocked off, and they can only book an appointment for a day after. So that gives you a whole day to prepare for the next appointment. Okay. And then we have the date range here. This is also, used to see how far, again, someone can book an appointment with you. You have your pre-buffer time. Again, it gives you a chance to, block all any appointment to give you time to prepare, just like the minimal scheduling notice. Post-buffer time also, this again, gives you enough time to wrap up your current appointment so you have enough time for the next one. And then you have your maximum bookings per day. This is another one that's actually quite important because uh, you get to decide how many bookings you want in a day, and then the slot closes off. There will be no more availability once you have maybe 5 bookings a day, because maybe you don't want more than 5 appointments. Once you have 5 appointments in a day, this is going to close off, and nobody can book you for an appointment for the rest of that day. Okay. And then you have another called maximum booking per slot. Again, this is the maximum allowed bookings in a slot. You usually want to keep this at 1 because you don't want conflicts. You want to avoid any issues. So when you select 1, that will actually get the job done. And then you have the look busy option here. This just helps you looks busy, like your business is in high demand. And again, that's something that actually helps certain types of business owners. So this is an optional thing to select. Okay. And then again, if you selected look busy opportunity here, you can choose how many percent of available slots you'd like to have. All right. And okay, once we click save changes here, then we get on the next step, which is formal confirmation. This is what happens from the client side when they're trying to book an appointment with you. You select what order you want the widgets to show up. So currently, it's on default. It's set up that you're gonna have the date calendar show up first, and after the date is selected, then the form appears, meaning the form where the client puts their name, email address, phone number, and a note. Again, I'm going to show you how this works after we build out this calendar. Okay. And next, so we're just going to leave this at the order they've provided, although you can just simply switch it by just dragging this here. Okay. And if you do that, as you can see, I'll even show you now. We've switched the steps, form first before the date. Once you click save here, and we'll come back to this. Okay. You go back to the calendar that we have set up here. If we refresh this page, you won't see the booking calendar first, but rather what you see here. You see the form first. Okay. So this is how this works. All right. So back to the form and confirmation. We want to have the calendar first. This is my preferred approach. And then we have the form second, so that people don't fill a form before they book and choose the date. And then you want sticky contacts. This, again, is something that just, if somebody has filled up your form before, it populates the page. without them having to write all the information. Okay, and then the consent checkbox. This is important if you're very strict about consent. You want to write your specific consent message here so people can select and decide if they're opting or not. Add guests. If you want more than one guest in an appointment, you can enable this so your clients can have more than one person show up. And then again, confirmation page after the appointment is booked. Where do you want that to go? If you already have a website, you might want it to go to appointment, thank you page. If you don't, you leave it at the default. This message pops up after the appointment is booked. Okay. And then again, we save changes here and it takes us to the next step. The next one is payments actually. If you are trying to accept payments through the system, maybe if this calendar is, for people that you need clients to pay before they can talk to you, this system does that for you. We don't have a payment system integrated here right now. That's why this isn't active. Or you can activate this process to accept payments. You can set up your amount, $5, $100, $500, or whatever you want. And this is going to help you receive payments before people get to secure the appointment with you. Okay. And then next, we go into notifications and policies. This is self explanatory. We have what happens when the appointment is booked. Where do you want the notifications? Email or in the app, SMS, WhatsApp, etc. That's all this is majorly about. Also, you have your settings for rescheduling and cancellation policies, which you can set up here. That gets you to decide how long before a client has the option to reschedule, to cancel, because it's important because some people just cancel an appointment right before the meeting. You can prevent that from happening by setting a limit. And then again, you have other things like a third party calendar. And then finally, we have your widget option here. For this, again, this is if you want to customize your calendar, make it look a specific way. This is where you get that done. Okay. All right. So we're just going to save our changes and this calendar is considered built out already. Okay. Now we have our calendar here and then we can always come back to this calendar we have here and we can preview how it looks. Okay. The information we put here on the description earlier, the name of the calendar, the duration, the availability, everything is working as planned. Okay. And now we want to go into the next phase, which is trying to connect this calendar to a workflow. Okay. And so when we go back into our system, we just go back here and we can go into our system. We want this appointment that's booked to fall into our opportunities, okay, which is here. And I'm going to make a video explaining opportunities more. You can let me know if you want me to do that. And so we're going to have that show up on the appointment booked stage in the lead conversion pipeline, meaning whenever someone books an appointment, they're going to show up here. Okay. And the way we're going to do that is by creating an automation and workflow. So we start here, we go into the automations page and we simply create a new workflow. Okay. So I usually like doing my sample workflows here. So we're just going to click on test pipeline. All right. So we already have a few pipeline workflows that I built here. And to cut this short, I have a video where I already built out this particular workflow. So if you want to see how I did that, you can please go check that out. Okay. So I'm just gonna duplicate this workflow since it's already built, and I'll just rename this appointment booked because this is for my personal calendar. Okay. So we're going to use the same information that's here already. So this is it. So we're just going to edit this workflow and then we're going to change this particular information here. Okay. So once we hit customer books an appointment and then in what calendar. Okay. So we're going to select my personal calendar. Okay. And now once we save this trigger, we hit publish and we save this. When an appointment is booked on the calendar we just created, it's going to fall into this workflow and this is going to happen. Okay. And we're actually going to run a test to see how that works. And again, if you want to learn how to build this particular workflow, uh, it's, then in one of my videos, I did that. And you can find that in the description as well. I'm going to add that so you can see how to build an appointment booking system. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is test out what we just built. Okay. So we're going to go into our calendar that we set up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into this calendar and schedule an appointment. Okay. And so in order to do that, we're going to follow the system, correct? So if we're going to select an appointment for Monday, and I'm going to use a temp email to get this done, so I can show you guys how that works and what happens through the sequence. Okay. All right. So here is a temp email. This is important if you're running tests. It's good to use temp mail services because they help you diagnose tests and put different types of emails and seal the messages that come through after the appointment is booked. So we're going to use this email address for our temp email to book an appointment just to see what happens. Okay. And remember, when this appointment is booked, we want this to come into the opportunities tab here into appointment booked. Okay. Want this to automatically show up here on the system and go through the automations of sending the email and stuff like that. Okay. So first, let's copy the email. This is email here. We copy, we go into our calendar and we want to select, let's test booking the appointment on the 30th. Okay, 30th, 11:30 a.m. We hit select, and then we put our details. Okay, you can just use let's say John Doe. Here, John Doe, and email. We just paste the email we just got from that service. As for the phone number, we can use, you know, just use a test phone number for now. Okay, and then for the notes, say looking forward to the meeting. Okay. And now the confirmation message, and then we hit schedule meeting. So once we do this, uh, this meeting will be considered booked. As you can see, the information that pops up, meeting has been scheduled for the 30th, and the link that comes out from Google Meet. This is how it looks. Okay. And that is because this was immediately injected into my personal Google Calendar, which I'm going to show you on a different tab in a second. It was injected to my personal calendar as the appointment was booked. Okay. So let's look at the email that went into the temporal email address, which is this one. As you can see, right away, the email came through. Okay. And here we have appointment has been confirmed. The automation went as planned. And when you look at the email, this is how I set it up. You see the time saying message to John, your appointment have been scheduled, 11:30 a.m. Everything went as planned. So the the email address that we use to book the appointment receives an automatic email. And then if you go into the system, here is the John Doe scheduled for June 30th as planned. Because we built this in the automation, that's why this happens. Okay. And if you click on this contact, John Doe, you can see the the email or the conversations that you've had with this contact. So if you look in here, this is the email that was sent out to John Doe when the appointment was booked, which is the same with this email John Doe received. Okay. So that's all done by the workflow that we set up. So you can see the date for the appointment, the link, and everything is set up here. Okay. And now I'm going to show you my personal calendar and how this showed up on my calendar. Okay. So here's my personal calendar. And this appointment was booked for the 30th. So we just go to the next page. And as you can see, boom, here it is. Okay. This is a time zone issue. So it shows a different time. But as you can see, this is a calendar between appointment between me, JA Solutions, and K Kramer. This is the email, temporary email that booked the appointment. And as you can see, everything went as planned, including the meeting link here that was sent to the client. Okay. So you hit this link and everything goes as planned. And this is how you get an appointment scheduled through GoHighLevel and out of a calendar that you built from scratch. Okay. And this is a whole system and a whole process, which is why this video took so long. If you like my help with explaining this a bit further and explaining any steps you missed, you can always leave a comment, and I'll give a more detailed explanation. Or if you think there's anything I missed, you can always let me know. But yeah, as you can see, this is the entire process of building a calendar from scratch. I hope this video was helpful. And please let me know in the comment section if you think you need to learn more about this, or if there's a specific topic you'd like me to cover. I'd be glad to do so. Thank you.